Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nerd On Update, where we are going to talk about the nerdy news and the things that excite us. Caitlin is pointing at me, and I don't know what I missed, and it's really starting to scare me.
She's emphasizing your words.
Good. But before we get into all the fun and good stuff of the Nerd On Update, we are going to do a little bit of housekeeping. And first bit of housekeeping is from Caitlin.
Is it?
It is.
You want me to say some stuff?
I do.
Say some things.
You know what? I probably can talk about Podbean, because this podcast is sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the easiest way to create your own podcast. We use Podbean to host Nerd On the Podcast, the Nerd On Update, and the Capeless Crusaders. Download the free Podbean podcast app to start, record, and publish your very own podcast in minutes. Podbean provides everything you need to run your podcast, and you can record and publish episodes directly from the app on your phone. Download the free Podbean app today. That's Podbean Bean. Check it out.
Check it out.
So
Check it out.
good. So good, Caitlin.
Thanks. It's almost like I do voice
good.
acting.
It's like again, everyone in this
Wow.
room has professionally done it, not me. So when
Tom, you did great. Well, we played that Kentucky Fried Chicken game, and you voiced the washing machine.
Yeah, that's reading a script, not reading copy for like a company. It's
I
very
see you.
different. I understand the intricacies of every actor and every line read. But anyways, I love the update because we can give the audience the lowdown on what they should know.
Boy.
And what y'all should know is how to stay updated with your hygiene by using such things as Manscaped.
He's getting stronger.
I am.
He is.
Support for Nerd On the Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code NERDON, NERDON, at manscaped.com.
Some people have been reaching out into our DMs, slipping and sliding in those DMs to be like, they've got theirs, they used our code, and they're loving the product. So that's dope. I like to hear that.
Do it.
Excuse me, I burped.
As someone who I find, to me, keeping it tamed, you don't have to make it like a baby or anything like that, but keeping it tamed so it's not looking like, a bonsai tree or anything like that is important for me. And then finding something that like you kind of just trust in, because like
I feel like there's a sketch in there where there's like a Mr. Miyagi type character that's...
Yeah, for sure. Who's just down there in the willies and just like... it has like a little sand garden and just like it has a little rake. I feel like I can kind of really rely, just because like everyone knows what a Manscaped is at this point in the world, and the fact that they're
because of
supporting
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that supporting us is like really cool. It's like, cool. I could actually talk about something I use. So.
Thanks, Manscaped.
Yes.
But shall we get on to the news?
We should.
Let's do it.
Who would like to go first?
You, Tom.
All right. So, what's up, everyone? Today, the DC Boy is back, and we're talking about some interesting things. So, first off, the Flash production has been halted
Again.
because of an injury that happened on set, which happens when stunts are involved. Everyone, please give more attention and praise to the wonderful stunt actors, fight coordinators, stunt coordinators, all of them. I think the Ben Affleck's Batman on the Bat bike crashed into a camera operator.
No.
And so the camera operator had to go to the hospital, rushed away. That since this recording, a bit more news has happened. The camera operator is okay and safe.
Thank God.
So that's cool. Spider-Man Far From Home has indefinitely stopped shooting right now because of the Delta variant outside. And Leslie Grace's Batgirl, follow-up from last week. The directors are in talks to have J.K. Simmons reprise his role for Commissioner Gordon, because if you know Batgirl, she is Barbara Gordon, the daughter of Commissioner Gordon, Jim Gordon. And everyone's kind of thinking, like, which Jim Gordon is it going to be? Is it going to be a new Jim Gordon? Is it going to be Jeffrey Wright's Jim Gordon from The Batman with Robert Pattinson? Or is it going to be J.K. Simmons? And it's J.K. Simmons. So apparently, he's in final talks about it to reprise his role. and he's been excited. He's wanting to do that. So again, a man of two universes, where he's in the MCU, the Sony Spider-Mans, and also now in the Snyderverse, is really cool to see that. But also that just kind of continues the conversation that the Snyderverse will not go quietly into the night.
No.
The last bit of the DC Boy news is pretty interesting. It's deep, and I think there deserves a little bit to be more conversation around it. So the Suicide Squad is coming out soon. It's a comic book movie. It's going to be like a quote unquote a sequel, maybe not a direct sequel, but a sequel of the 2014 movie. 2016 movie, The Suicide Squad.
Suicide
Squad.
1976
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
That David Ayer is credited the director of, and a lot of reviews from a lot of high-end checkmark verified Twitter users would kind of just post up things like, "Oh, I saw the early screening of The Suicide Squad. David Ayer should just give up. David Ayer should forget about his cut of the film. Blah blah blah." A lot of disparaging things where Corey talks about it a lot. The comparison is The Thief of Joy. So David Ayer kind of took to the internet and wrote this hefty long letter, and it's titled My Turn.
Yeah.
And he talked about how he came up in South Central and how he joined the military, and he almost died multiple times. He got shot at all the time. He always imagined that his life would end in a cell or in the grave, and all these years are bonus years of his life. And that he put his whole life and heart into Suicide Squad. It's about a group of people, a group of bad guys who are shitted on and discarded. It's a theme that resonates deeply in his life and in his films. And the film that we saw in theaters is not his cut. Read that again. You know, these are like word for word paraphrases I'm trying to use from his letter to everyone. And from that, it kind of reinvigorated this spark of like release the Ayer cut. So hashtag release the Ayer cut. Everything that has transpired in those years of experimentation and the studio taking control of these films and taking it away from the directors is terrible. And the cool thing is that you saw people like Kathy Yan, who directed Birds of Prey, saying like, speak your truth. And Ray Porter and Ray Fisher and everyone, and even James Gunn, who is the director of the new The Suicide Squad film, saying only love and admiration for you, my friend. Everything that you've done has only paved a way for people like me. And so like there shouldn't be any confusion that David Ayer and James Gunn are on good terms. You don't need to disparage one film or the other to support both.
There's so many things that go into the mix with these especially with these large of productions. There's so many cooks in the kitchen. There's so many ingredients. There's so many people that are just behind this that you have no idea what went into this thing that is now, unfortunately, like the thing that people review or they make comment on. Like we have no idea.
And it's tough with that because a lot of reviews come into big question because that's what kind of threw the whole DCU into a big spiral, is that a lot of bad faith actor critics and bloggers preyed on that insecurity. And even today, there are bots and people who are creating these fake accounts trying to disparage Snyder fans and review bombing the Suicide Squad on IMDb, saying restore the Snyderverse because they're spelling it wrong because it's like definitely a bot. And these are like usernames, all these things. And also there's a bunch of people who are like for James Gunn saying like David Ayer's trash, where it's like even James Gunn has to combat and say like, no, that's like my friend.
Yeah.
Like don't do that.
Yeah.
So don't be shitty. You can raise up all ships just by raising the tides. So, and a lot of people are praising that the Suicide Squad film is great. And a lot of people are commenting about like, this is what happens when you let the director, do their thing. So
Funny
that's
how
all
that
the news
works.
I got. Who's next?
Caitlin?
So I happened upon a trailer this week that I didn't even know was a thing until this week.
Wow.
And I had no idea. But
It's like Josh definitely did not do a update episode about it.
Nope.
tuned out. But Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer came out this week. So we had Ghostbusters in 1984, we had Ghostbusters in 1989, we had 2016 with the all-female cast, and that got completely retconned, and now we're going to have Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is basically like the rowdy kids discover the crazy thing, and then now there's ghosts and zombies and stuff, and now they gotta find out who to call.
I don't think there's zombies because it's only ghosts.
Shh, they're zombies.
I was too slow because this was going to be my news, but I saw that a new trailer was posted. If you know me, you know that I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. And
you're literally just Final Fantasy VII in my mind. So when I saw it, I was
cool.
like, oh, that's
that
cool.
Tracks. But with Ghostbusters, it holds a very special place in my heart. And I was a little nervous about this, but this trailer and the one that came out last year, it was funny. We accidentally watched the first trailer because I was like, oh yeah, I want to watch this. We accidentally watched the first trailer, which I'd already seen, and it said coming next year. And I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah, there's a new trailer. And you can tell they updated the effects. But I almost cried because I was like, it actually looks good. Like it, and when you have a sequel to something that was so long ago and holds such a special place in your heart, and you see a trailer that
you
you're
want
like,
it to be good.
Whoa, it actually looks good. So anyway, I'm excited.
And it's directed by Ivan Reitman's son, Jason Reitman.
Yes.
It looks good. It looks fun. It looks like it still has its quirkiness.
Yeah.
It's like ushering in for the new generation.
And knowing that it took this long to happen because the amount that these particular filmmakers hold in place for the franchise, I think like doing a direct sequel like this is, I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
You want to know a sad fact?
Yes.
I
look
Please,
out for
Tom,
sad facts.
give us the sad facts.
I watched way more of the cartoon than I ever watched of the first and second movie.
I get it.
I watched like the second movie like way
We're
after.
furious. How could you
I'm
do
so
this,
sad.
Tom?
So to me, I'm like, why does everyone care about this movie?
Now it's sad.
Josh?
My news, we're continuing the lawsuit train because we talked about a lawsuit last week. A lawsuit was filed by Scarlett Johansson on Thursday in LA Superior Court alleging that Disney breached her contract by releasing Black Widow on Disney+. I am going to refer to my notes a lot because there is some legalese and stuff that was mentioned.
And it's got huge implications.
Yeah, it has very big
it
implications.
does.
So I'm just going to refer to my notes. The suit claims that simultaneously releasing the film on the streaming service and theaters broke the agreement. It alleges that her salary for the film would be based in large part to the film's box office haul. The suit also states that Johansson got a promise from Marvel that the picture would be a theatrical release. And by that, the understanding is that it is exclusive to movie theaters. Disney was aware of this and still directed Marvel to violate this pledge. Disney has since responded with, the lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date.
So there's some
But-
stuff
That is-
to talk about with this.
Yeah.
But
unpack
the next part of my news, which will add to the impact, is that since this has inspired Emma Stone to, in her words, weigh her options due to Cruella being released in the same way under the same exact circumstances and implications.
And so this is like an industry precedented case because the streaming age is here, and the big deals that like this has in play is like, so if the studio loses this can like kill Disney Plus. Because what will happen is that every single person, every single show is going to have to... There's a part of in the lawsuit where she's saying, well, I'm not coming for a payout. I'm going to come for the Disney Plus money. Because you are trying to use me to bolster your numbers and subscriptions. So it's not the premium number, the $30. It's your overall growth as a Disney Plus company or a Disney Plus service. And so if every show starts doing that, then there's going to be less revenue that Disney actually gets to hold.
Right.
And they have to split less.
The pie starts to be split a whole day. I was talking to, just real quick, I was talking to Jeff Nimoy because I'm working on another film with him. I'm excited.
Hey.
But we were talking about the way like points work in films.
Participation. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and like the percentage points that you get of profit, because there's so much that goes into the money portion of film. It's not just production, it's the afterwards, it's the marketing, it's the film submissions, it's all these different things. And it's like once everybody has taken their money, now there's the profit to kind of like split about. And so with this kind of thing, it's like with what happened with the world and the amount that streaming became so ingrained in society's entertainment consumption, we're just like flipped on our lid of just like, okay,
Well,
this is things like this have to happen.
Well, also to me, this also starts becoming a little worrisome because, like, let's say I'm defending Disney.
Mm-hmm.
That's Mulan. That's also Soul. That's also Jungle Cruise.
The Marvel movies that
Like, you're gonna have to go against The Rock, Emily Blunt.
oh
Like, all these people start following suit because what HBO Max did is that they paid out every talent. So
Yeah.
high end talent, they got paid out, and I think that it's almost reported that they lost $1 billion worth of revenue to pay everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
And because so in comparison, Denzel Washington for The Little Things got $20 million for The Little Things, but The Little Things is way smaller of a movie compared to Black Widow, which made
Yeah.
like $640 million worldwide
so
Right.
to
some
the box office.
like some pocket change.
Right. And
Yeah.
so, but also Scarlett Johansson has also been working on Marvel films for X amount of years.
Yeah.
Like the case against Scarlett Johansson is going to be, well, without us, you wouldn't have made as much money as you would no matter what. And there'd be like the only movie that made close to the amount of money that Black Widow did was Lucy. And so like there is that fight, and they're both not going to be. They're both not blinking. They're both looking at each
They're
other
like,
like
you should be grateful for us.
that's pretty much how it's going to be.
Wow.
And that's why the article that went out with Disney's clapback, whatever, is so indicative of Bob Chapek, who is the current CEO of like, I don't kind of care about the talent. I care more about how does the business work. Because what's going to happen in this lawsuit is that they're going to compare Black Widow to Loki. They're going to say which one actually proved more beneficial for Disney Plus, which is a fucking really shitty thing to do. And it's indicative because he said, they're disparaging her character, saying like we are hurt that she would do this during this time of COVID, and also she got paid this much. Like putting how much she made is so below the belt kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like let's look at it, right? Robert Downey Jr., we all know he got paid $50 million per Marvel movie.
He got a lot of money,
and he really pushed for all the Avengers to get more money as well. But Scarlett Johansson now, who's been there probably second as long as Robert Downey Jr. has, only made $20 million on her first solo outing, and so it's like a little, like, of course, to me,
there's a lot of facets to this. I mean, there's also the fan facet where people are like, this is a character that often people have been like, oh, this character has been slighted in terms of like screen time, explanation, like background, that kind of thing.
Slighted in every way.
Yeah,
and now
you want to do it in the real sense. What?
well, and also like, so the big tough thing with this, right, is that pirating. Black Widow is the number one pirated film,
of course it is.
of 2021.
Of course it is.
Because it's the most high traffic pop culture film.
Yeah.
But you know what? Critics, they get a screener, they have a little watermark. You know, like the like SAG screeners, actors get watermark.
Yeah.
And you have to watch through it and all that stuff. But streamers like me, like if I'm watching through Disney Plus and someone screenshots my entire screen, like I don't have to go through that. So like this is a huge thing because Scarlett Johansson saying like, because you also streamed it on Disney Plus, people pirated it more than actually it's going to theaters. So that also that's implications for the consumers, because now they might have to start watching things through a watermark.
Yep.
Because then they're going to have to then they're going to be able to trace who leaked the movie.
Right.
So it has huge implications. This entire thing is like streaming will change, theaters might change, but like if it gets done in closed doors, because I don't think Disney can quote unquote afford to lose this.
Right.
And that's the thing where
but they also, it's the streaming wars have been around for a long time. We've talked about theaters being kind of on the outs for a long time, but they're so secretive about streaming numbers.
Thanks to
And
Netflix.
so secretive about giving any kind of indication of how well or poorly things are doing that it's like going down the line. And if someone as high profile as Scarlett Johansson is going to get slighted by one of the biggest companies in the US for entertainment.
Who's also a person in the media that people respect,
right.
enjoy.
And they're immediately besmirching her character by saying, you would do this during the pandemic. And she's like, you would do this during the pandemic?
Like you knew that the market was not back.
Right. And if it was something where they were more forthcoming about their numbers with streaming or saying like, oh, well, we could have negotiated a deal or let's negotiate a deal. We'll cut you whatever. Like, but no, you only hear about CEOs getting way more money out of nowhere. And then, and yes, $20 million is a lot of money, y'all, for sure. But also like, the more I learn about acting, the more I'm like, holy God, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Because every marketing thing that you do, every photo shoot that you do, every like personal assistant, like all the things that you do, that's coming out of your pocket directly. Disney is not paying for Scarlett Johansson to do, all of her photo shoots and everything. Do things start coming in for free for performers and whatnot?
And that's all part of self-promotion. Like it's
right.
There was an actor that broke it down on, it was originally TikTok, but it has, in my world, gone viral in a sense where somebody lashed out on her because she said something about, oh, I only made this amount per episode. And they lashed out on her and she was like, well, let me break it down.
Yeah.
And they broke down everything because they still have living expenses. They have apartments probably in multiple cities because they have to. They have travel expenses. They have all of these different things that it's like, yeah.
What I think the most jarring thing for me was a good publicist starting out is going to cost you $5,000 a month. And I was like, you what?
You what?
But yeah, it's going to be huge. And to me, I think Netflix is kind of like showing how much they're going to stay on top in terms of a streamer. Because like, let's say Scarlett Johansson gets blacklisted by Disney. What happened with Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers? Went to HBO Max. Like all these people are going to HBO Max because like, not HBO, went to Netflix. Because like you said, Caitlin, like they don't talk about the numbers because they're not going to tell you how good it went because you might want to get the number.
Right.
But what they're going to do is they're going to give you $30 million to shut up.
Yep.
And then they're gonna be like, I gave you a lot of money. I don't owe you anymore.
Right.
And but when Disney kind of opened the door of like, hey, it's not a Pandora's box. I like this term. It is the Russian doll of Pandora's boxes where you kept opening and opening it.
There's
and
another
it's got
thing.
worse and worse.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I remember being like shocked, but also being like, of course that's the case. Like the guy who voiced Simba in the animated Lion King.
The kid?
Yeah, kid.
Not Matthew Broderick.
No. Disney offered I think it was $100,000 or $200,000 buyout to be Simba. And his mom goes, hang on.
You guys have a theme park.
Well, no, she was like, why would you buy us out completely at such a high number? I want a percentage. And so they got like 1 or 2% or whatever.
It's way more than that.
But took a much lower initial, like, I think it was like 100,000 instead of 200,000. And the interviewer was like, oh, well, did that end up paying off for you? Like, was it? He was like, yes. He's like, well, how much? He's like, millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. A business always going to give you where they don't stand to lose. Like, again, Spielberg makes 13 cents for every dollar spent at Universal.
Right.
The theme park. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
What a freaking genius. We got to do the questions.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
I mean,
that's
also,
a long conversation about acting in the industry, and there's so much more we could talk about because we're all in the industry. So,
an update on last week's news with Blizzard and Activision.
Oh yeah, they had a walkout.
Walkout and all sorts of some new shit has come to light that is not great. But this is not that. Oh
yeah, the Cosby suite. And
yeah.
All of that
So
it's a lot. Just do your homework, y'all.
So the next part of the show is in which we answer questions from you, the
people.
You can submit your questions in a number of ways. If you go to nerdon.tv/questions, it has all of those ways, including the Discord, including sending us an email. There's a form. And if you come hang out with us on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, nerdon.tv/Twitch. Come hang out in the chat, and you can submit your questions there. And if you are a member of the Nerd On Nation, nerdon.tv/Patreon, not only are you helping us to upgrade our content and be the best that we can be, but you are also getting what we call the Nerd On Nudge, in which your questions are answered first. And you can ask questions like... I was like suspense.
Yeah.
Was it cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll say that.
Okay. First question comes from Brad, aka to me, B-Rad. What is your go-to movie snack?
Don't look at me, Caitlin.
Reese's Pieces.
Oh, God.
The great debate.
I was just staring at Tom's face so I could see it sink when I responded.
I was like, because I look like
The
a
great
Reese's
debate
Pieces?
continues.
Do I
No.
look like the peanut butter in a Reese's Pieces?
Maybe you look like a snack, Tom.
I'm trying to be the whole meal, baby.
The great civil war that is in Nerd On. How to say that name.
Reese's Pieces.
It's Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
I mean, look, English language is really stupid, but I don't make the rules, so I try to abide by them. Like
Reese's
Jif.
Pieces.
Anyways, Josh?
I mean, it used to be peanut M&Ms, but
What?
it's grown into just good old popcorn and a hot dog.
Butter? No butter? You got the
No
little
butter.
You got the cheese thing on the
Oof.
garlic thing? What's going on?
No,
No?
I'm sorry. I'm always on a diet, man.
I
I'm always watching what I eat, so I
What-
never
what
put
is
the
it?
butter on.
I watch what
But
I
I also-
eat before it goes into my mouth. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
what is it? Popcorn is high calories, low carbs.
Mhm.
Just saying.
It's not terrible,
Floated in
and
butter.
Bonnie and I will share the popcorn. The hot dog, I mean, we each get our own, but it's like it's like a you it's kind of a cheat thing where you're just like I'm not even gonna give a shit.
Do you ever wish you had a frog tongue so you could eat popcorn without having to use your hands?
No, Caitlin.
No.
Because you know what?
No.
Primates were like, thank
Nope.
God I have thumbs. And frogs
Well,
were
you
like,
have to
you
get
can
the
also- you
salt
can just
all
go,
over your fingers.
You can also just go hit.
Yeah, but the bottom of the bucket's hard to get to, so you need a long
well, that's
one
why
for the end.
to me also hack. Good hack, everyone. Nerd hack popcorn theaters. Never get the bucket or the paper bag.
Why?
Always ask
Box.
for the box.
We get a box and we that's
and
how
make
we
sure
do
you
that.
get two
like
boxes
a
because when you
bucket.
want to put the butter in there, it doesn't seep to the bottom and like
This
stain your
man
pants.
uses butter.
Oh,
He goes to
I
town.
would
I
like
remember
some popcorn with my
it was
butter.
one of those moments where you just kind of watch and it all goes to slow motion and you focus in, like you zoom in on the butter, just like covering
Oh,
every
yeah.
kernel.
Like I promise you, I will abuse my cinematic powers for when I make a scene in a movie theater and I do a fucking slow-mo shot of butter.
just you want butter and then it goes and it goes right to the
And then I'll probably do a cutaway 4 hours later. And
Oh
then it's just
my
like gallons of
God.
butter.
I'm good, guys. Let's go to the theater.
So for me, my go-to, I mean, to me, popcorn is like rice of like a popcorn of theater food. It's like you gotta have it. You gotta have the rice
No.
with a thing. Yes. Anyways, I think my go-to is actually it depends. Some theaters don't have them, right? So it's Swedish fish or
Oh, those are
or sour belts.
Okay.
Like I want that fruity gummy.
My mouth is salivating thinking
Yeah,
about the
that's what I
sour
want.
belts.
To me,
I may-
chocolate in a theater, I'm like, but my hands could be dirty and my fingernails could look like I have poopy under them.
Can I ask like a follow-up question?
Yeah.
Just as conversation?
Yes, Josh.
Twizzlers or Red Vines?
Neither.
I wrote that as a joke actually in my spec script.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because someone's like, "Oh, I didn't get I didn't get red vines. I got Twizzlers." It's like, you can't replace those. And then it's a joke later on that sets it up. I would say
I like Twizzlers pull and peels.
I like the
Specifically
experience
pull and
of
peels.
twizzling, like pulling it apart. But I like the flavor of red vines more.
Okay. You can also get a like 10-pound bucket of
Yeah.
Red Vines.
But
at
also, I used to
Costco.
love having a Twizzler and like putting in a straw.
Oh yeah,
and-
the straw
Yeah,
action.
The straw shit. But also like the little commercials where you could draw like a little mustache and do all the little art thingies with Twizzlers. Caitlin, what you got?
Coke and cherry slushy. I don't like either of those.
Okay. Anyways, next question.
Asterisks. Next question comes from Dougler. What is a gendered stereotype that you don't like in media? Bonus if there is one you do like.
that women don't know anything and they have no idea what to do ever. That's really obnoxious.
A gendered stereotype, right? That we don't like.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone ad nauseum on some of our episodes where I just can't stand it. Kind of on the same vein, I just cannot stand the over sexualization of females in like anime. Well, I mean, any kind of media. I can't.
It's pretty much everything, yeah.
The
media has come a long way in the last like decade. It's come so far, but like,
Yeah.
boy howdy, having a conversation with people 10 years ago was like a time.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to watch. Like, we were even discussing a potential topic for a future episode, and you're like, oh wait, that was in the 1970s. Now we have to have a conversation about
that.
the implication. I mean, media has changed a lot, but I can't. I just can't.
Yeah. I think for mine, it's gonna be a women thing, because I think in attempt to try to check the box of like women don't need no help kind of thing, they've kind of made it where sometimes women aren't humans.
Oh yeah.
And they're more like these naggy, like,
oh yeah,
the bitchy.
I'm always right and you're wrong and it's dumb and it's like,
yeah, that's too
like,
don't know anything. They know everything.
Well, like it turns into, and it's kind of
they're a robot.
It's kind of topical because it talks about last year's anniversary. They turn into Mr. Strickland, the principal of Back to the Future, where they're just like, "You're a slacker. You didn't do anything right," and it's like,
oh yeah, constantly
like,
nagging.
That's also not right either. Where it's like, and the cool thing that I've actually discovered in a writing software is that you can do a gender check, and then you can literally you can find every character and you could check if they choose to not be a gender, a male or a female, and then it'll break down like how many characters do you have that are male or female, and then how many lines do they share.
Oh,
and then and on the bottom will say like how many women characters have a scene by themselves. And I use that.
That's great.
I used that for the first time last night. I was like,
is it called a Bechdel?
That's the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of like a way to, I think, trick that, which is I don't find it like actually helpful, because the bad thing is that you make these women characters not talk about the plot at all. And I'm like, that sucks just as much.
Like
that sucks just as much, which I've seen happen. I'm like, this scene's supposed to be the Bechdel test, but it's also garbage because it has nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, they're just trying to like cross off a thing.
They're just trying to cross off the check. And so that's why to me, like, I like when the female character is strong, is growing, does need help from friends. Like, that is, everything's universal in that way, where like we're still human beings. And I think Harley Quinn does a very, very good job of that show. And I'm just like, it feels like it's female forward, but it's not having to be like a check, like we're checking a box.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
To tiger pounce on your idea, I can't stand the trope of the dumb husband.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
Jerry.
I can't stand, like in commercials, it's like, oh, the woman knows everything and the husband's plugging his fingers into the socket. It's like, yep.
If they're like,
every guy's like that.
If they're like absolutely dumb, I don't like it. If they're like Tim Allen dumb, like
but that's still like, that is like an extreme example of the stereotype. And I don't know. I'm just like, I'm so over it.
For me, and again, it's because I'm a single man, not a husband. And you're a little older than me, so you've probably seen a lot more than I have. I'm kind of okay with it sometimes if it's not done like Family Guy is like a perfect example of like every character just became their worst versions of themselves.
Yeah.
Where like the dad character can be dumb. Like Homer is a great dumb.
Everybody can be dumb.
Homer is a great dumb dad, but who like all of a sudden turns on like the ballerina thing and then cheers Lisa up.
Yeah.
Like he still has a heart. Where in like Family Guy, Peter is dumb without a heart.
Yeah.
And it's like, that sucks. But like, if you could be dumb and be playful and it's fine and it's good, but like if you have a heart of gold and it's okay and it's actually used to a point where like, oh, they win. Yeah. Like Jerry loses every time because he's dumb.
Yeah.
And that sucks. If they win because they're earnest and it's not because they're the smartest person in the room, that's fine. It's again, how you do it. Like a woman character can be strong and not need anyone else. But they have to doesn't mean I have fucking chi powers and I shoot with aimbot and also I'm the savior of all of China. It's like, dude, oh my god.
I mean, there was a few years in commercials that it was just like, I can think of one. I don't remember the product, but I remember the wife was just super smart, and the husband was just
blinking
like, how is he alive?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing. Like, you're just like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yep.
It comes from Sharkbait. Looking back at your superhero personas y'all made, which universe would you want them to exist in? To make it easy, Marvel or DC? You can be specific if you want, i.e. comic or cinematic universe. I have an idea.
Okay.
Go for it.
Shit.
DC's deceased.
Oh, okay. So you're
So there's a possibility that we could become zombies.
Nope.
So, well, that's for you.
That's for me.
That's for you. Jonathan Kent is out there, and you're like, but I'm also super strong too. And also Mary, what's her name? Shazam. Mary Marvel. Marvel, yeah. Kaylin, how about you? You're Chimera Girl.
I feel like it'd be more appropriate in DC for some reason. There's something about I don't know, there's something about what I know thus far of the DC universe that I feel like they would fit better there.
And plus, you probably want to hang out with Power Girl.
You know.
Or take over her identity.
You know.
That's the whole plan.
I would go in the Marvel universe. Because if the Flash was in the DC universe, he would demolish everybody. And so if I'm practically just copy paste onto me, I'm like, oh,
you gotta be somewhere else.
I'm like Quicksilver.
Child.
What are you crawling? What are you doing?
Child's
What are you
play.
even doing? You can't even run through
Tom goes into Marvel just so he can insult someone. Well, because they're not better than him. But that's why he also doesn't choose DC, because Flash would be better than him.
Wally West would whoop my ass, and I'm like, there's no point. There's like 8 other speedsters here. There's no point.
What a little Bakugo move to be like, I'm gonna pick Marvel because I can insult the weakling.
Yeah. So if I can make my own character who is practically just a DC carbon copy, I would go to Marvel because I would actually have a reason to be there.
All right.
There'd be no reason to okay, now we have the Asian Flash. I'm like,
Quicksilver, more like slow silver.
more like sludge.
More like
Wow, these are the worst insults I've ever heard.
that would be the joke of it.
Yeah.
You've got questions from here, Tom.
I do have questions from the chat. Please send some more while I read these off, everyone. The first question is in my Photos app because I screenshotted it and
then you forgot.
Okay. So, first question from Dougler93. Question: what is your secret food combination that's great? 2 foods that go together, but you wouldn't think about it.
Oh, I already have one.
Go ahead.
And it's related to a previous question: popcorn and mustard.
No.
Caitlin, that's not okay. That's not okay.
Sorry.
My favorite thing is Batman. No.
Sorry, that was literally
That's
my
not okay.
taste buds screaming.
That's not okay.
I was in the same boat until I tried it. Bonnie, it was her thing.
I went to the movies with them and I was like, for sure. I don't do that. For sure.
No,
That's how you are that's how you do it as an adult. You're just like,
clip
all right.
that. Somebody.
Don't.
I really like this.
Clip that shit. Hashtag Caitlin's toxic. Hashtag Caitlin is toxic.
Toxic fandom.
That was literally it was.
Fucking
I
children.
can't even explain myself.
No.
It was just it was seriously my taste buds took on a mind of their own. It was I would never. And all that came out was just
We need to
no.
speak now. No.
Yes, that's what happened.
Josh, I would try it.
Thank you, Tom.
I would try it too, but
Thank
my
you for
taste buds
validating me.
scream in response.
Kaylin, what's yours?
So I haven't eaten this in a very long time, which you're probably gonna have just the same reaction to this. But my dad used to make these sandwiches all the time, and I was surprised because they weren't bad. But they're peanut butter and mayo sandwiches.
No. See that, Kaylin? See, it's not fun.
It doesn't bother me. I didn't mean to.
It wouldn't bother you. It was just fucking hilarious. It was also a lower tone, like
No,
no.
so far away from the mic.
You know what? Actually,
broken the universe.
you know what it reminded me? It reminded me of when Mamba threw in $5 so that you could play Resident Evil 7.
Oh God!
And you freaked the hell out.
I did. I did.
For me, I mean, but the thing is, what I thought was weird is now like a normal thing.
Yeah.
Was that-
Yeah.
It was mayo and ketchup. Mayo ketchup is
Together?
a normal thing now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I always
Fry
called
sauce.
I always called it like it was what secret sauce
So
was.
like my dad used to like make hot dogs, and he would, we were poor, so we'd boil the fucking hot dog and put it in a bun, and he'd make like mayo chup. And like now I see it in the store, I'm like, you could buy it.
I've never heard that like name.
That's
for
literally
it.
what it's called now. I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Just call it pink sauce.
Mayo chip.
I don't want to call it that ever.
But if I have an actual weird food combination that's actually good,
I feel like catching A's would be better.
I have one.
you have another one?
Yes.
No one cares about your other one. They said
Well, the other one actually is really good.
All right, what's this one? What's this one?
It's Coke wine.
That's
so
not weird.
when your wine starts getting a little like skunky, you mix like cold Coke into it, and it's really good. Like a red wine. Do it with red wine,
Okay.
but it's very tasty.
I don't have like all the things to me. Again, also I'm an Asian dude that's ate a bunch of shit. So I'm like, people are like, chicken feet's weird. I'm like, it's good to me. So I don't know what's weird like that I would combine, because to me I'm like, oh, those are just things I liked are normal now.
What's a weird food? Bleach.
No combination.
Salsa on a baked potato. I do that.
I mean, no, I don't have one really. I think.
I don't believe you, but that's
Oh,
fine.
I guess, but this is normal. This is okay.
How do you know?
It's top ramen. You put a fucking slice of American cheese on it.
Nope, that's not normal to me. Anyway,
That's actually a pretty like common like. And I was actually thinking about.
everything
Is
if
normal to
is
someone.
normal to somebody.
Well, no, this is like a very like
cannibal. No.
this is actually like
Josh. No.
I actually wanted to do like a series of how to like get more out of your top ramen, and like you just do these simple hacks and stuff like that, where it's like, yeah, American cheese on that slice, and you just like mix it up a little bit. It makes it a little bit more creamy.
I believe you. Cheese makes almost anything better.
Yeah, see,
It's
that's
like
a
when you
very
find
Asian
out-
thing. Cheese ramen.
Just like when
on
you
the
find
chat.
out that putting chocolate into chili helps it taste better.
pudding. Sorry, that's what you said.
Nice question.
Next question. This one is from Gamer Fuji. I don't remember if I've asked this before. What was a movie, video game, or show experience that you thought you wouldn't like that turned out to be something you actually enjoyed greatly?
Pretty much any horror movie that I go into, oftentimes the recent trilogy, what is it called? Scare Street or something on Netflix.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Fear
It was
Street?
Fear Street. Thank you. It reminds me of my mother-in-law. She's like, "What's that movie? Pain Closet? You mean Hurt Locker?"
Oh my God.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, horror movies. At face value, I'm like, I'm not gonna like that.
Oh.
But then I go into them, I'm like, this is fun.
Horror movie is like probably one of the best places to dig for like, wow, this is actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Video game or show? Movie. Easy. And I'm gonna put it as a topic. Y'all wait for it. One Cut of the Dead. One Cut of the Dead. Japanese horror film from
Oh, yeah, you've talked
2019.
about
Oh
that.
yeah.
It
I
is-
remember.
Oh my god! Wait. Oh yeah, I thought I wasn't really gonna like it because my friend was like, "Yo, Tom, you gotta watch this Japanese horror movie about zombies, and it's about this filmmaker who's trying to make this movie about zombies." And that's all I'm gonna say. And I'm like, eh. And then I was like, I watched it. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I was watching, whatever. And then it hits, and I was like, oh, this is one of the.
I didn't
greatest
think I was
films of
gonna
all
like
time.
Big Lebowski.
Huh? I didn't think I was gonna like The Prestige as much as I did.
I didn't think I was going to like Black Widow as much as I did.
Oh.
I was like pleasantly surprised.
Loki.
I still haven't seen it.
Loki, to me, is my favorite of the Marvel Disney Plus shows.
Wow.
I
All
still
right.
think Jessica Jones season 1 blows everything out of the water, but tit for tat. Next question.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
this will be the last question.
Okay, this is from
Time
Town of
wise.
the Dragon. Nerd on. What upcoming games are you looking forward to the most right now?
Slime Rancher 2.
Well,
Everything else is secondary.
Dying Light 2, I'm really excited about. and Plague Tale 2. I'm really excited about.
That's good.
Super
Rats
excited
and
about.
dead people.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
It's
are
like a
brighter
puzzle.
days ahead, buddy.
Puzzle game, kind of. There's narrative, and it looks beautiful. It has a great story.
It's beautiful when the rats devour people.
Fuji knows what I'm talking about. Julie knows what I'm talking about.
I don't have a good collection of games to think about that I want to play.
I'm gonna Google search.
Everyone in the chat, seriously, add me on Steam.
Same.
Just so we can play. But also every once in a while, I get really sad that I can't play a lot of games, and I might buy a $5 game. Not saying I'm gonna write that empty check or that blank check, but I'm just saying. Caitlin and Josh both know that randomly I'll just buy them games.
Yeah, this is true.
So, one game that I'm excited about is probably, maybe Gotham Knights.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to play as other DC characters for once. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
What are you guys conniving about?
Sorry, I just saw
She
one
saw
of the
that
most
Hot Wheels Unleashed is
yeah,
coming out.
it's going to be
and
coming out this year, everybody. Hot Wheels Unleashed. You can drive a little car real fast.
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels. I used to
Lead
play that.
away.
I used to play that game all the time on PC. What?
Anyway.
The Sandcastle one was like the best.
There was
that was the best one.
There was one racing game that I played a lot of, and it was like you were playing as actual RC cars. And that was really, really fun. And
that was Hot Wheels,
I remember I
right?
was playing that was like early PC gaming. I remember I was playing
it was a long
a
time
shit ton
ago.
of that shit.
My racing game growing up was Ridge Racer.
Crash Team Racing?
No.
Crash Team Racing?
Yeah.
I didn't play.
Yeah.
I wasn't cool.
To me, I was like, this is the shitty Mario Kart. But it was like a lot of fun. Look, if it wasn't Mario, if it wasn't Mario, I was like, this is the garbage version of it. Which that's how I thought of Donkey Kong Country. Like, this isn't Mario. That's how I was as a kid because I felt like Mario was
closed-minded.
the very polished version. Yeah, very closed-minded to experience other developers are just doing different things.
Yes.
Than knowing that Donkey Kong Country was huge because they made Donkey Kong the actual protagonist, or that Crash Racing was this is a different platform.
I mean, I
and you have all these different
understand
characters.
why you would put Mario on a different level because they did have a theatrical, a movie that was really just well done.
Oh yeah, for sure. But also,
The
I didn't
1993.
realize that Lex Lang was going to be in Crash. So I was like, oh, this is great.
It was a great movie, The Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
Shout out
it's really
to friend of the show, Lex Lang.
Yeah.
Um,
I tell you, I say this every time. Lex Lang, he just oozes cool.
He does,
He
though.
does.
He
He
fucking
really
is
does.
stupid cool, and I'm like, man, I want to grow up to be as cool as you.
Yeah, he's so cool.
pretty cool,
Speaking
It's
of
true.
cool, you guys are cool for
It's
listening, for watching,
you.
For following,
for following,
for
Thank-
joining that Nerd on Nation.
Hell yeah. Everybody at home, thank you so much for watching or listening if you're on your favorite podcast app. Speaking of, we are everywhere podcasts can heard. All the
Can
episodes
heard.
can heard. All the podcasts can heard. All the podcasts are put on video to our YouTube channel, so check that out. If you forget any of this information, go to nerdon.tv. That is our website. It has all of the information. Everything's posted there too. So check it out, nerdon.tv. Like we have mentioned throughout the show, do consider joining that Nerd On Nation. It does allow us to grow. It does allow us to upgrade our content. Over the past 12 months, we have made so many upgrades, and our content has gone through the roof in terms of quality because of the Nerd On Nation, and we appreciate you guys big time. I'm pulling up my next point.
For 4 quarters, y'all could join in, get us to our goals, make the dream happen, join, see all these cool exclusive things. 4 quarters. You got 4 quarters.
And also, once we are at 43 members of the Nerd On Nation, and once we get to 60, the Nerd On Nation gets to decide a topic for one of our episodes. So
You
it's
can
pretty
pick
dope.
the 50th Land Before Time if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Or the extended edition of Hot Rod.
Nope.
And if you like
Don't
what you
do that.
hear, stop by, rate and review, share us with your friends and family, all that kind of stuff. That is how we grow. And one last piece of housekeeping. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code NERDON at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code NERDON. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much. We heart you. Take care of yourselves. You know the drill. As always,
Nerd on.